Hello everyone, and welcome to Devlog number 3 for my game Irontide. You're probably going to notice the insanely high frame rate in the top right corner, and that's because I discovered that my CPU was throttling itself because I installed my cooling system wrong. So all of my previous optimizations made the frame rate jump really high. But anyways, we do have a planned release for a more public testing version of the game, which I plan on releasing by the end of August. And since we need testers for it, we'll be putting a call out for tester applications pretty soon, probably within the next month or so. So if you're interested in helping us improve, do check it out. It'll be in our Discord, which will be linked below. Today we'll be talking about a new destroyed class, AI improvements, and a look at a basic campaign that I've been working on. So first up, we have a new airship class, which is the Archer class destroyer. We wanted the airship lineup to be slightly different than the traditional ship class lineup, but after some playtesting, we needed a cheap, small ship that could reasonably battle every ship class for variety. Otherwise, battles would just be whoever spanned more capital ships wins. Archers have five dual-barreled 5-inch guns, which can be used to kill smaller ships, and 8 missile tubes at the top, which allows it to kill larger ships. It's kind of meant to be a side grade to bringing a bomber, which is the airship version of Corvette. Uh, because Corvettes can also be spammed to kill capital ships because they have large dumb bombs that can drop on capital ships, but they require you to get really close, whereas with the destroyer you can just shoot missiles at range. Eventually, it'll have an electronic warfare suite that it can use to shield the formation of smaller ships, but I haven't completed electronic warfare yet, so for now it's just a light brawler vessel rather than a support vessel. Another thing that was improved on was the AI, which is now more smart and less laggy. The original AI that I wrote used a really bad algorithm, which basically used raycast to check if there's terrain in the way, but now the new AI uses the grid that I mentioned in the last devlog to move around terrain. It uses a new algorithm which calculates the shortest path to a target ship, and it's shown in blue in the video. When I drag the target ship around, it updates the path automatically, and there's also some very basic target discrimination, basically a system where AI-controlled ships will prioritize ships of similar weight class. So what that means is that the new AI will use their capital ships to shoot at your capital ships and send out light ships to kill your light ships. The target discrimination can also be used to tell ships to run away if they're facing a ship that is outside of their weight class, such as if a corvette is pitted against a battleship. So there's still a bit to add on here. And the last thing we're going to talk about, and the thing that's going to take up the most time in this video, is what the official release or a beta release of this game is going to look like. But before we actually do that, we need to address something that's really common in strategy games, which is spam. And this will make sense in a bit, trust me. Spamming units is both historically and in strategy games pretty overpowered because inevitably you'll overwhelm your enemy with the sheer amount of units you can bring into every battle. And the one thing I am concerned about is capital ship spam, because capital ships can bring enough guns to kill basically every other type of ship except other capital ships, which makes bringing any other ship kind of useless. There are balancing levers games use to get around spam, but the one that I believe will fit this game the best is adding a grand strategy aspect, which is the campaign that I talked about Devlog number 1. So to, I guess, prepare for that, I began work on a very, very bare bones prototype of a campaign. So here's the very basic campaign prototype. I can zoom my camera in and out, and I can also move the camera around using WASD. You'll notice there's some icons on the screen. Basically, you have 2 fleets, the green icons, and there are 4 yellow unidentified tracks around you. There's a menu on the right side here that shows all of your fleets and different tracks, and right now there are 4 tracks in the unidentified section. So if I right click on a track here, it shows a sub menu with all the different options for the track, but for now I'm going to press request ID on all these tracks. And you'll see here that these 2 tracks declare themselves a neutral. That means they're most likely civilian and have been moved out of the unidentified section into the neutral section on the right menu. I'm going to focus on this track, which ignored our request because I'm moving away from my fleets, and I'm going to get one of my fleets to intercept it. So if I right click on this track and press intelligence, then it'll open a window that I can drag around. And here you see 2 grainy images of this track. The first one is visual imagery, which is extremely grainy but can allow you to make out details in each ship. And the second one is synthetic aperture radar, which is basically what this track looks like from a satellite orbiting overhead. It has larger range, but you can't really make out details at all in this track here. But this fleet does look like it's composed of warships. I can recognize 2 heavy cruisers on the right side, and there's a random blob on the left side. But I'm going to exit out and tag this track as a hostile track. And you'll see here it got moved out of the unidentified section into the hostile section on the right menu. And I'm going to see intelligence on the last unidentified track, and I actually don't know what this is supposed to be on synthetic aperture radar. So I am going to go and look at the visual image to see if it's more clear and we compare them. I still don't know what it is after looking at the visual, but it doesn't look big enough to be a threat to me, and it's also not part of a fleet, so I'm going to assume that this is a civilian ship and tag it as neutral. And now over here, I'm speeding up time to get an intercept. If I intercept a track with one of my fleets, I get kicked into a deployment screen. It's not complete yet, but eventually I'm going to have it load your fleet on the left-hand side and have it face off against the enemy fleet that you intercepted. The reasons that I'm working on this campaign is because of the aforementioned spam issue and because I want to have more gameplay. Further regarding the spam issue, in this campaign, balling all of your ships together and sending them at enemy fleets to overwhelm them can work. However, the enemy can outplay that simply by outmaneuvering you and surrounding you and cutting off your supplies. And the same thing can work the other way around. If the enemy launches a massive attack at you, then you can outmaneuver them and sort of wait until their few supplies are too drained to continue chasing you. And regarding gameplay, I believe that single player games require a lot of content or else they'll get pretty boring pretty fast. And I have considered a multiplayer, but that would require rewriting most of my code base. So the next best thing is basically just adding a large amount of single player content, such as the campaign. This campaign would also tie together a lot of mechanics that already exist in the base game, such as structures, which I talked about in the last devlog. For example, if you capture a radar station, you can use it in the campaign to spot enemy fleets earlier and collect intel, and cities can have benefits such as having a shipyard, airfield, fuel, and other things that a fleet would need to keep running. And also, this is all still a work in progress. A lot of things in the campaign are subject to change, but themes such as the UI style and intelligence gathering are more or less going to stay the same, since intelligence gathering is what I want the campaign to revolve around, and also I think the UI looks cool. But anyways, that's it for devlog number 3. Again, if you would like to help playtest our game, or if you have any questions or feedback, please join our Discord. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.